Not just for him.
Just for us.
Obviously, the nature of the Australian side as well. It wasn't just any Australian side, they were dominating cricket at the time, so great achievement there. Cap, you played 42 test matches, I think?
42 tests, only 2 positive, so that was it's underachieved, really.
And you didn't manage to beat the Aussies that regularly?
No. Won the jungle in Australia. In fact, the only time I've come back from Australia, I haven't won anything. That's about my lot. Didn't win matches.
So we've had two terrific games, the first 2 test matches. I'm sure you've all been keeping an eye on it. This one's shaping up nicely as well. Another great day's cricket yesterday, but start of the show, obviously, a little bit of pace. Would it?
Anyone there yesterday?
Yeah.
I genuinely have not seen a quicker spell in my time. I mean,
Whatever.
Headingley nowhere near as quick as that now. And Brett Lee, last night we get all the numbers now on telly, so when you actually hear us talk a bit of sense, and we're talking numbers, it's not us, it's someone next to us telling us exactly what's going on. The spells yesterday, I think he averaged 90.5 miles an hour, didn't he, throughout the whole of his, how many overs did he bowl? 12, 13? And that's the quickest that's ever been recorded in the UK. Brett Lee was the next quickest in 2005, where he averaged over a day about 89.5, so that was special. You know, when you cricket, all the different skill sets that we see in cricket, you can. I think when you see someone like Shane Warne, the great late Shane Warne bowl, his leg's been that special when you're there watching that. But when you see someone bowl genuinely quick, I mean, you just want to be at the other end when you're batting. But that was a moment, yes, particularly that first over. When that first over, he clocked one at 96.5. And I do that. Look, when you have a bowler like that, and he's rattled 5 of them out, the scars that he'll take into the second innings. So that's why it's so important today that England, with the weather as it is, bat long. So if England only bat till mid-afternoon and Woody's back out there bowling by 3-4 o'clock, he's going to be fucked from yesterday. So they have to bat well into the day, and if they can bat, look, the England side play Bazball, so it's very aggressive, very risky. They do create opportunities for the opposition, but you just hope they can bat 70, 80 overs today, and it just gives England that period late on in the day when I'm pretty sure you'll all be absolutely tanked wherever you sat and get stuck into the Aussies at about 5:30, 6 o'clock for half an hour. That should be the plan, but yeah, when you see something in cricket that's special, you admire it, and that was yesterday.
Yeah, and just Pat Cummins' dismissal, didn't even get his bat down. And that's the Australian skipper, and it does send sort of like shockwaves through the dressing room. And so to see Labuschagne, the likes of Smith being hurried by him and everything, you know, I'd be ripping up sofas, putting themselves round me and everything. And it does, the Aussies were visibly shaken by it, and it's such a weapon to have up your sleeve. I think that he could come back and he could roll them over secondly.
It's just a shame we didn't have Archer available as well.
Well,
is he any other player?
No, I don't think he will now. I think that elbow's knackered. I'm surprised and disappointed when you 2-0 down in the series. For me, this is the week, obviously, we're going to have to win. I'd have gone Josh Tongue over, obviously, and he said it before the game. You know, you've got Wood and Josh Tongue, I mean, he's not as quick as Wood, but you've got Tongue who bowled great at Lord's bowling 88 miles an hour, Woody at the other end bowling 95 miles an hour. As a captain, you just know you've got this tool that can rattle the opponents. So I think the whole selection this week's been it's been strange. I mean, Harry going to 3. Harry's not a number 3. He's a very dangerous 5 at the minute. He might end up being a 3 in 2 or 3 years' time, but he's just too young and too inexperienced at this level. He got used to just going in at 5 and basically trying to keep it to the boundary. He's now got to think at number 3, and he looks like the player that kind of player that doesn't need to want to think. He just wants to go out there and think about whacking the ball. And putting him to 3. I wouldn't have played Mowing this week, as we all know Headingley. His finger spin, you can use Joe. Adam, we're not just saying it now because Johnny had an iffy day, but we were both saying before the game, we'd have gone Folkes to bat at 7, bring in the keeper, put Johnny to 3, and just play your 5 quicks. That's the way we'd have gone. So.
And what Walks did alright, actually.
Quality player, quality bowler, his stats show that. You know, I mean, I think he should have played at Lords as well. I think he's getting them about 12 at Lords. The one thing that
we do pick about 15 players.
Well, we do. It's quite difficult to get them all in there, so you're not sort of shoe all of them all in.
And we just go with the wind every hour now.
We're in the perfect position to do that, but I do feel I would have given, they've got to stop the bleeding a little bit on Johnny B now. For me, he's shelling a few down. He stays in the team for me because he's he's just such you can't take your eyes off him when he bats. But for me, I think when Pope got injured, it was the perfect opportunity.
Can't take your eyes off him when he keeps at the minute.
Well, I know, he's like falling off that bar stool. You know what I mean? But he stays in the team for me. But when Pope had gone, I think it was just the perfect opportunity to get proper keeping. Like he can still bat. He's averaging 40, the boy. So it's not weakening the batting, but you've got to have your best keeper for my mind. Blakes, you should know. You've got to have your best glove man, mate.
I mean, I just read that we've dropped 14 catches.
Yeah.
We've missed a stumping and we've taken 2 wickets from 2 no balls.
Yeah.
And we've still hung on in there in them 2 games.
That's the Ashes for me.
And we've given around 80 more extras to Australia.
Absolutely.
How hard is it to get 80 runs?
The extras at Lords was key. I think it was 80 extras we give away to their 30.
By the way, anyone called Bartholomew or Humphrey or Franken in this room? No, the 3 names of the MCC members that are Bar. Checking there's no MCC Bar members going to the ground.
It was amazing. What did you think of that Johnny Bairstow run out, or was it stumped or anything? What's your opinions on it, boys? Out? Not out? Out. Oh, yeah. Harsh up north.
Phil thought he was against the spirit of the game. Phil fucking Tufnell.
I think last ball of the over, I think the umpires got away with it. They needed to be pinned down.
Of course, Phil.
Of course. Did they say over or didn't they say over? But they didn't. It wasn't a third umpire's call. We all knew it was out of his crease, so the umpires needed to decide on the ground whether they'd called over or not. And they sort of went, I don't know.
How can you call over when you've got a second?
Well, they were all walking to the square leg like that.
Alex Carey takes the ball.
Yeah,
and he releases it straight away. The ball is in the air to the stumps before Johnny's even done that. What is the spirit of the game? What is the spirit of the game?
My spirit of the game was gin and tonic. I've always had one of them after.
No, it was out.
And what about pitch editing looks really
It's a belter.
There's been a couple of absolute dead pitches, haven't there, really?
That one.
Edgbaston and Lords, but this got carried, a little bit of grass.
That one at Edgbaston
Good
was
pitch.
shite, that was rubbish. Lord's a bit better. Andy Fogarty, the groundsman, he's probably the best in the country. He's done an amazing job. All you want, Seamus just want carry. You want the ball to fly through, you get the snick, the ball goes through to the cordon, and yesterday it was flying through to the cordon. So
We was in the lift, weren't we, with Mitch Marsh?
Big Mitch.
Yeah, and he came and said, great pitch. He said, great pitch. He said, if you get in, you can smash it about. We've still got a little bit in for the Seamers, and it will do all game, so good pitch.
Yeah. Mitch Marsh afterwards, he said he reckons he's the only Australian to ever score a Test match 100 whilst on his holidays. Couldn't believe he got a game, but what an innings that was.
That was a good selection for Aussies, wasn't it?
Well, Cam Green's out with, I think he's got a dodgy hammy, so it was a light for light, but Mitchell Marsh he's a good cricketer when he gets in.
What's that spin like?
Good, decent, Tom Murphy.
Market.
Yeah, yes, but no, he's decent. I mean, Lionel, but that's what was so annoying at Lords. I mean, we had him 180, we were 180 for 1. Nathan Lyon's just been carried off on a wheelbarrow. And we've had them by the absolute short and curlies, and then we just had that crazy half an hour when we lost Joe and Duckett to the short ball. We had them in a corner, you know what I mean? And we could have just easily have gone on there. It's baseball with brains we keep talking
We had
about.
just one brain up there.
Just one brain.
In actual fact, yesterday, 2 things happened late on in the day. Johnny and Joe realised he had to just see it through to a stump. It made great sense, so that told me that baseball had been put in the fridge. And also the Nighthawk, Stuart Broad, we've heard it for a year and a half now about the Nighthawk. There's T-shirts made of him. He wasn't going out there last night either, so Mark Wood back in the side. There you go, mate, you can face it. The Nighthawk seems to have disappeared. We started, they might be trying to just think a little bit about the game, but our day, and not even in our day, just in the Test game, today England have to start thinking cleverly about the bowlers. I always say to the batting, you bat for your bowlers, because bowlers do win you the Test match. You have to get 20 wickets, and if England don't bat for the bowlers today, those bowlers are out there too soon. And if we're ristled this morning, crikey, it's going to be a tough ask for Mark Wood. And Broady once again to keep charging in, so they have to bat for the bowlers today.
Just quickly about Mark Wood as well. He was bowling 10 mile an hour quicker than Pat Cummins. And Pat Cummins, let me tell you, rapid. And 10 miles an hour, Mike, you know that. When it just goes up 5 or 7 miles an hour, you really feel it when you're out there, don't you? Oh, he bowled 10 mile an hour quicker than Pat Cummins. It was steaming
The
it.
ball that he bowled, Mitchell
that's
Stark.
sharp.
How would you play that, Cap?
Well, I used to bat number 11 because I didn't like walking off on my own. I would have been, well, yeah, I wouldn't say I was scared. Just sort of, apprehensive. But I mean, I've placed Brett Lee and that is correct, mate.
Yeah.
That spell, it's still sort of like with me, that spell. Never seen that.
No, but the ball that gets Stark, if you watch it again on the replay, it's the top of
Goes
left
for
so
six,
it goes
yeah.
for 6.
It goes for 6.
It went for 6. That's quick. That's quick.
Well, they changed the ball. The reason they changed it was the seam split when it hit the wicket.
Yeah.
in the ball.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's just you.
So what was it, a pre-arranged strategy to just bowl in like 4 overs? Because he bowled Kawaja and Smith came in and then took him off.
Yeah, I think there's. I mean, he's clearly not.
Very strange move.
Yeah, he's got a dodgy elbow, and any scientists in here or psychologists, they're ruining sport because
Any scientists?
he'd have been told that he can only bowl in 4 over spells.
Yeah. Should have used him a little bit more when they had that partnership going. I mean, that's what is their strike bowler. That's the guy that you throw the ball when they get stuck in. But you've got to look after him.
What we're going to do about spinner, Cat? We just can't see it.
We ain't got one. We haven't really
Well,
got one.
Jack Leach is pretty good.
Yeah, Jack Leach.
He's alright.
He's steady. He's a good bowler, and it's been a huge miss for England. Actually, he would have bowled well on the likes of Edgbaston and Lords. He would have done his. He does it. He holds an end. He gets his wickets. Mo, for me, is a strange pick. Hasn't played for 2 years. Doesn't really want to play as well. Listen, he gives you something with the bat, but when it's up round his ear rolls, he won't be getting too many. Rayan Ahmed, the leggy. A bit young to throw into an Ashes series on pitches that aren't doing much.
What about Rashid?
And he don't fancy. He don't really want to play.
He's not playing for Yorkshire, so.
I know, they'd rather bowl 4 overs for £1 million, I think, you know, and go and play for I would. For the Rajasthan Royals or the Delhi Badgers or whatever. But the boys are doing well in the white ball stuff. But yeah, we are a bit short. I might have gone with Dawson actually.
Yeah.
Little Dawson.
Yeah.
He's a steady left armer for Hampshire, can bat as well. So, but you're right. Up and coming, there's not too many knocking about, mate.
No. And what about the old Western Terrace with it quiet?
Yeah,
What's
well,
quiet?
yeah, but
What's
I
quiet?
can
Took a little while to get
These look a likely crew, you'll get it wrong.
Yeah.
The Friday at Headland is always the day, really. I don't know, is it fancy dress day today?
Well, obviously.
Yeah, they were quieting down by Mitchell Marsh.
Yeah.
You know, then they got lively after 2 when the wickets started to fall, and then obviously we lose 3 late on in the day. It's down to the England side to get the terrace rocking. You know, and it
This
comes-
England side like a little bit of, like a punch up as well. The first 3 days.
Captain does, he's good at that.
Yeah, that was a good cracker, wasn't it? Yeah, that was at Bristol. But I think Lords didn't do him any favours, did it? The first 3 days, it was quiet, and they sort of, you know, they need a little bit of hoop to get going. When it gets rocking, this England side like getting stuck in.
It always comes down to Joe.
Yeah.
If Rooty gets 100, we'll be okay. If Joe gets out, I'm afraid England will struggle. He's just, of all the bad bowlers. The one thing with Joe, when he's batted in the last year and a half, when he's played really well, he's played the Joe Root way, just batted. Now when he gets out of his box and starts trying to play the Bazball way, well, he worries me. When he tries to take all the pull shots, dancing down to the spinner, I'm like, no, just bat. If he can be the glue, England will get a score. If he starts trying to be fancy like the rest of them, I'm afraid we might be in trouble.
How's he playing the first ball of the day then today?
He'll ramp it. Well, I'll guarantee you won't ramp it on this pitch. It's too quick.
Yeah.
You know, the Edgbaston pitch was perfect for that kind of shot because it was slow. It wasn't going to kind of zip and bounce on you. I would be amazed if he tries to take on the ramp on this pitch. He might be spitting it out of his teeth.
Just going back to your fast bowlers, what about the golden oldies, the Michael Holdings and all that? How fast were they? I know we didn't have the technology, but interesting to hear what you say about Woody.
We'll always say it was a lot quicker. back in the day, but I have to say I thought it was, because I was at a function the other afternoon and they put on a clip of me scoring 100 against the Aussies at Old Trafford. And I said, turn it off. I said, why? I said, well, it says on the bottom, Glenn McGrath, 78 miles an hour. So I got him on 88. Get rid of it. No, Tomo would have been quick. They all say that he was genuinely express. The one thing I'll say, in this era, compared to in the past, I do think they were obviously quick, but also what the batters and players had to deal with back in the day was, you know, the side screens were just tiny. So you go back to Headingley back in the 80s, there were just trees behind the bowler's arm, a small side screen. So that visual that you see as a batter is so important, whereas now if you stand in the middle of a test kind of pitch, you look behind the ball, it's just white. It's massive, it's a better visual kind of era than it was. You go to the West Indies, when the West Indies were in the pond in the 80s, you know, you watch Boycott facing Holden and Ghana and particularly at places like Trinidad. You know, they're bowling like 6'7", coming from up here, out of trees. You know, the background is trees. You're trying to get a red ball out of a green background, it's not easy. So I think the visual these days is a lot easier, but it's still, I can't imagine bowlers are slower with the fitness element of the game and the strength that the player put into their professionalism. So yeah, I do think, I can't imagine that Wood isn't the quickest. I think he will be the quickest. That was the quickest spell that I saw. I can't believe that Jeff Thompson was bowled quicker than Mark Wood. I just can't believe that.
Yeah,
I was at the other end. I was at the other end.
the other end?
Yeah, it was at Cape Town.
That's right, I was commentating on it and Nick Knight just went, well,
I can categorically tell you that was not 100 miles an hour. That was a sponsorship deal between Shoaib Akhtar and the company.
Really?
And it was set up before. It was a bit dodgy that era. You played. It was cash in the pocket.
I was a little bit disappointed.
All the conditions tomorrow, Phil. There you go.
What's the team? Oh, there you go. I was a little bit surprised no one ever approached me to get naught. Perhaps they just kept their money in their pocket.
Any questions, lads, on anything?
Is there a place for Jimmy Anderson in the team anymore?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think he'll play at Old Trafford.
I'll be honest. No.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, the emotional side of Jimmy. 20 years, he's a legend, the greatest that I've seen. Bowling Test cricket for England, but you know there comes a time when he's 40 years of age, and in the first two games, even on the first pitch at Edgbaston, if you look at Jimmy over the last 6 or 7 years on flat wickets, look what he did in Pakistan. He just gets that wobble seam and that movement. He got nothing at Edgbaston, and then he gets the pitch that he wants the week after. I mean, him and Brodie basically dictated that that's the pitch that they wanted, and they got it, and he offered nothing. You know, he's just lost that. Once you lose that zip, and also in the field, he's been brilliant in the field.
Yeah.
You know, he catches everything, and those two catches that he drops at Lords. You know, I'm sure that Ben Stokes has told him he's playing next week, but I can't think that's the right thing to do. If England win here, you know, surely Tong will come back in next week for Robinson, and they've got a week off. You know, Wood's going to play obviously. Tong's got to play. Broad will play if it's 2-1, and you'd stay with Chris Woke. So I hope. You know, I don't think we generally do in English cricket the farewells very well. You know, I think we generally say to players piss off. He certainly has earned the right to have a game of cricket for us all to say see you to Jimmy, but I'm not necessarily thinking he should play at Old Trafford.
Do you think Robinson will play next?
No,
I think he's knackered.
Oh, next thing it's back spasm.
He's bowling slow, 78 miles an hour. That's not going to trouble you, is it?
No. I had a back spasm doing Strictly Come Dancing. It took me about 3 days to get over it. I don't think he'll be coming back and bowling.
Yeah, it'll reverse, potentially reverse at Old Trafford, won't it?
That's why you just need that. I mean, when you've got Tong and Wood together, two bowlers who can bowl quickly, you've got to play them.
Yeah.
What about the batting technique of arguably the best batter in the world, Steve Smith? You're not going to teach that to the youngsters, are you?
Good luck with that.
As a batter, Tuffers, what do you think?
Well, no, I batted very similar to him. Except he just I didn't hit it, you know. Yeah? I used to hate bowling at players like that, you know. They get under your skin, these freaking all this and all that and all this. Oh, it would have driven me mad. But I think Joe's number one in the world now, isn't he? Joe's number one in the world, and fair enough. They haven't got any runs, you know what I mean? Smith and Labuschagne, we've had this Ashes in the palm of our hands, we really have. You know, we were thinking Smith and Labuschagne.
got on last week.
Oh, fucking did. But not in a sort of, not in a sort of, no, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It wasn't one of those sort of like, yeah, he did, Mike. This is why we have a statistician sat next to us. And it wasn't sort of like, I didn't see it as one of those sort of like real match-winning knocks, you know what I mean? We've kept them very, very quiet. You know, and that was my fear coming over here. Are we going to get 20 wickets? And it has been shown a little bit of that, but to get them 2 for nothing, and then we just let it slip with the likes of, you know, Travers Head. How's he keep getting bloody runs? I don't know. I mean, he's a great player to watch, but you know, technically he's not great. And then you know, and then Mitch Marsh comes in, and we drop him, bang on 7, goes on to do it. It's been frustrating in the comp box, hasn't it? We have had it. We've had the opportunity every Test match to win it. Hopefully this one we can get over the line. We deserve it.
I reckon Smith's the best problem solver I've seen. You know, he averages 60 for a reason. He's got this amazing ability to, whatever the bowler's created and whatever the field's been set, he'll be able to solve the problem. And he's got unbelievable hands.
Yeah.
Actually, look at his. You would never look at his foot movement. You just watch his hands and just the way that he manoeuvres his hands and gets his head in the right position. It just shows you the technical manual, and I'm sure some of you've got kids who are playing the game and coaches who are telling you about head over the ball and, you know, all that kind of crap. It's just about the individual working it out for themselves, you know, trying to work out a method to score runs in different conditions. And I reckon he's as good as I've seen, really. You know, I wouldn't say he's the best player that I like watching. No. You know, I certainly wouldn't think, oh, go and wake up and watch Steve Stick. I much prefer to watch Joe Root all day long. I just think he plays with great finesse and style. But in terms of problem solving against all the different bowlers, Smith's as good as he gets.
You mentioned the commentary box. Who did you learn the most from? Did anyone take you under your wing when you first got in there?
Aggers, a very quick story about Aggers. When I first came in, it was about 4 years ago, and well, it's a bit longer than that, but I mean, I've worked with Aggers quite a while. He's brilliant, and I do have a little bit of trouble with silly names. You know, they do make me giggle a little bit, and it was about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was the Champions Trophy versus India and Pakistan, and I've gone in there, and we've got the team sheets and what have you. All right, we've got the team sheets and what have you, and. It was in, so the India teams comes down, Rohit Sharma, lovely, yes, but Brumba, fantastic, Pakistan, Amir Sahel, oh shit. Batting number 2 was a chap called Fucker Zaman. I looked at it and I thought, oh, Mikey, that's going to be a bit tricky. And as Aggers has gone, leave it to me, tough as I'm the lead, I'm the number 1 sort of guy, most experienced chap here, leave it to me, young man, I will look after it. So I've gone, thanks very much. Lovely. So it's 3, 2, 1, we're live. And welcome to the Oval. It's a glorious day here in South London. Pakistan have decided to win, have won the toss and decided to bat. And here come the openers, Amir Sahel and Fuhahaka. And I've looked at it and gone, so I can't even speak now, you know what I mean? I'm laughing, yeah. And so this has gone on, and it's Bumba up, you know, oh, it's short, wow, for like that. So this has gone on for about 10 minutes, and then he's taken his ears, he's taken the cans off like that, and he's gone, no. He said, Toughest, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. His name's Fucker. So I've just gone, listen, mate, you do what you like. You do what you like. So he puts them back on, he goes, and in comes Bumba and everything. Oh, it's short, it's full. Oh, what a fantastic shot by a Fucker. And I'm going, oh my God, this is Radio 4. We're going to get taken off the air like that. Anyway, there was this genius bit of commentary that he did. He said, in comes Bumba, oh, it's full, it's wide, oh, it's outside. Oh, Fucker's nicked it, it's gone behind. Fucker's gone for 30. Fucker's got to go. So up the tears are coming down his face like that. And then he's gone, oh, hold on a minute, they've asked for the no ball ruling. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the screen. In he comes. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that is tight. That's a no ball. That means he's not out. What a lucky chap.
We do have a bit of fun in there. I came into the TMS box in 2010. My mentor was Jeffrey.
Yes.
Boycott, and the producer Adam, one of my first trips was Sri Lanka, and we're down in Gaul, and Adam used to say, youngster, just when Boycott's on, just sit behind him and just listen, you'll work out straight away the way to kind of just put your words out there, when to make your point, when to talk about the game, when it needs a little bit of fun. Anyway, he was on with Simon Mann, and England were chasing about 360, and there were about 200 for 8, and Jonathan Trott was 129 out, he'd been out there hours. So Simon Mann turns to Boyks and he said, you know Jonathan Trott, Jeffrey reminds me very much like yourself when you batted. He does, good technique. You know, when he gets a bad ball, hits it for one. Gets a bad ball, really bad ball, he might hit it for a couple. Yeah, he doesn't mind men around the back. He's talking away, and as Simon is listening to Jeffrey, on the monitor in front of us, there's about 6,000 England fans there, it's beautiful in Gaul. And the camera pans into this tent down the left side of the ground. And there was this elderly couple just fast asleep like this, absolutely out for the count. So Simon just started chuckling and said, Jeffrey, just want to have a look at the monitor. The camera's just panned into the tent down the left side of the ground. And again, Jeffrey, very similar to when you batted. you just look at there's a couple of people fast asleep, and Boycott is sharp as a knife. He goes, yeah, very funny, Simon. Yeah, every now and again the odd person fell asleep when I batted. He said, but I'll tell you what, when they woke up, I was still there.
Right, guys, we're going to have to get these lads. They're on deck on the BBC very soon. So
we're going to go and do our preparation.
Thanks very much for the invite, Gav. Hope everyone's enjoyed it, and I think you've got some breakfast and have a great day. The cricket should be a cracking day's play.
And if one or two of you don't end up on the pitch, we will be disappointed. Just get on there.
Listen, guys, thanks very much.